So yeah, this next thing we're gonna be talking about, we're just gonna get into some. Just quickly, we're just gonna get into some politics. Why? The question is, why is there a separation of state and corporation? And I have a point to make about that.
We have been in a
I think it's
lawsuit
not
now
working.
for nearly 2 decades, and Exxon has managed to drag this out while it has managed to increase its profits to basically obscene levels, over $40 billion in net profits.
I'm doing
now.
good still.
How
What about
did things
you?
get this bad?
How are you
The
doing?
conclusion that I came to in Not One Drop is that we need the 28th Amendment to the United States Constitution, the separation of corporation and state. Starting in 1886, judges started recognizing corporations had rights accorded to people. The first one was the 14th Amendment. And nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the Bill of Rights do we find the word corporation. This is totally judicial fiat. What this has done is allowed a consolidation of
Are you doing your work? What type of work you
to the
doing?
corporations that now threatens to destroy the republic.
What work you be doing?
We once separated church and state. We now need to separate corporation and state. On March
Church and state. Listen, I need to get into
24th,
that after.
1989,
Whoa.
which is when Exxon grounded and spilled
Are you an
11 to 38
artist?
million gallons of oil.
That's
in
interesting.
Sound.
Do you
I
make
was
music?
Commercial fishing. I held a commercial fishing permit and I fished salmon. I also held a master's and a PhD in marine toxicology.
Do you make
Exxon
music?
came to Cordova, Alaska, stood in our high school gym and promised us, we will make you whole. Instead, Exxon worked behind the scenes to eliminate thousands of business claims. Exxon threw an army of attorneys at this case. And it's not just the Exxons of the world, it's any of these big transnational
Okay.
corporations
What are
have
you
the
working on
ability,
right now
because of
then?
their wealth and power, to completely
What are you working on right now?
overwhelm small communities that get in their way. If we had had the 28th Amendment to the Constitution, Exxon would not have been able to use the 5th Amendment and the 7th Amendment. The 7th Amendment is that facts tried by a jury cannot be undermined or revisited by higher courts. So in this case, a jury of peers, ordinary people, determined that the price that Exxon had to pay was 1 year's net profit. Exxon challenged the amount and also that punitive damages should be held at all. Exxon also used in a related lawsuit the 5th Amendment. The 5th Amendment is a takings of property. After the Exxon Valdez oil spill, there was a federal law passed, the Oil Pollution Act of 1990, that essentially banned the Exxon Valdez from Prince William Sound. It banned any tanker that has spilled over 1 million gallons from transporting oil in Prince William Sound. Exxon said, that is a takings of our future profit. That's illegal under the 5th Amendment. If Exxon was not a person, Exxon would not have been able to apply the 5th Amendment. 5 years after the Exxon Valdez ran aground, we had our hearing and dollars in compensatory damages. Exxon appealed that $5 billion for...
Okay, so it is a slippery slope, right? Because then if government and corporations are not separated, then the corporations can use laws to get themselves out of stuff. But then my rebuttal would be, first, the separation of state and church, right? We in a modern society, we understand why that's the case, right? Why you would have the church and the state separated, because then it becomes a theocracy where it's run by religion. When you observe all these Western countries, they were built on religious beliefs. So I'm not saying, I don't know, because that could lead to a lot of other slippery slopes. But that's what gave the country their values and some sort of morality, which is what they then based their laws on. So it was first a theocracy, a religious state, right? most countries, and then from this religion you have a sense of morality and you can build laws around that, right? Now you separate the state and the church, so the state now is more independent, right? And they can regulate the church to make sure that they don't do anything that they're not supposed to be doing, right? But then wouldn't you be losing some of the values that were incorporated in the country? And with that, wouldn't you lose some sort of nationalism around the country, or patriotism? Because then the country doesn't really stand for much if there's not really a main religious body to regulate stuff. I'm not currently working on everything. I completed project for my research. Yeah, I'll let you know. I get hundreds of people coming in my fucking chat to tell me about artwork. I'll let you know. Every day, it's so fucking tiring. It's spam. Twitch needs to do something about that. About people spamming artwork all in my chat. It's so tiring. Every stream is so tiring. But yeah, you that's great for you. So where was I? So yeah, you kind of lose some sort of values, right? Then the laws start to be less based on morality and maybe more based on I don't know what it would be based on. If you don't have some sort of religious basis, right? You can base your laws on anything. So that's already that. But then when you separate the corporations and the state, right? You would assume that it would make things better, because then the state is able to regulate the corporations, and they're able to have some sort of they have different degrees of separation, so it makes it more efficient in terms of working out the issues within the system, right? But then okay then the corporations, let's say Amazon, Apple, or Microsoft, yeah, some of these corporations end up becoming monopolies, right? So they end up monopolizing the market space, and they occupy more and more of the market space, and they start making more and more profit, right? That's not a problem, because it's just how things work. As long as the government makes sure that they have the right taxations and things like that, then it should make it fair. And a lot of time them man have tax cuts, so you know, we that's a separate issue. When a corporation becomes a monopoly, a lot of them end up having more money than the state. So a company within your country makes more profit than the whole country. So in a sense, the corporation becomes its own mini country and its own mini government, because they have just as much funds, if not more, than the government. And then I wonder, how does the separation of the two make things better? Because you would assume that the government would regulate things and make sure that those corporations don't get out of hand. But we start to observe more and more that states and corporations are working hand in hand, because a lot of the politicians and the people working for the government have investments in some of them corporations that are monopolizing the market space, and then it benefits them. If the company does well and profit margins are up every year, it benefits the government because they have investment in a corporation. But then it skews their judgment, because they become biased towards the companies that they have investments in. And then that becomes a big, big, big problem, because who is going to be able to regulate those monopolies if the government doesn't have, they have the executive power to do it, but they don't have the will, because on a financial basis it's not making sense. So essentially the country ends up being ran by the corporation, by the monopolies, and then there's no more need for the government, there's no more need for the state. And so therefore the whole country and the laws of the country are based on profit margins. They're not based on what makes a great society. It's now based on what benefits the biggest companies. And I think that's something that we need to revisit, because it's not working. The system is not working as it's meant to work on paper, because obviously it's run by people, and people are flawed. So when you look at China, they don't have separation of corporation and state, right? So therefore they're able to focus on specific areas at the time when they need it, right? So they can influence the companies into doing what's better for the country as a whole. But when you're in America, Britain and all France, them countries, the state doesn't have any influence on the corporation, because at that point they make way more money than them. And I think this whole thing needs to be revisited. This whole thing needs to be revisited. Because when I think, we're bringing up China again, when I think of a country like that, right, which it's not a perfect country, they have their own issues, right? I understand why they're able to be such, to compete, even though they're such a young nation. Twitch Manda 2, what's up Twitch Manda 2? Even though they're such a young nation, they're still able to compete. And why? That's because the state is able to influence what the corporations are going to be doing. And so it's in the best interest of the government for the corporations to follow what society needs at the time, right? You're following me? In America, which is mainly capitalism that's running it, right? It's all run by capital. You have competition between all these companies that are under the same nation. Okay, healthy competition is always appreciated. That's what makes things better, right? But unhealthy competition is not, like monopolizing markets and stuff like that. That's the things that we do not need. So when you have like a crisis in America, it has to go through this bill and this judge, and then it's to pass here and this and this and that, and then by the time it's done, sometimes the whole problem is already forgotten about. And then, you know what I'm saying, it takes years to just get one fucking initiative started. So just because there's that separation, right? But if there wasn't the separation, as the state, what is gonna be beneficial for us? We don't produce anything. Most of the thing that we get imported in our country comes from China, India, South Africa with fruits. They come from outside. A lot of these, Vietnam with textile, China with drugs, textile, technology, Taiwan with chips, Israel with technology, software stuff. Why not produce that in America? And this is the whole thing that I don't understand. They're so fucking focused on all we got is potatoes, bro. That's what I'm saying. They're so they're so focused on shit. I lost my point. Hold on, it's gonna come back. They're so focused on war, on the war machine and warmongering and making their profit through that because it's the easy route, right? That they're not even thinking that they're losing on an international level in terms of production, and that gives you less influence on the world. Slowly, other countries starts to not listen to you because they're like, wait, why are we gonna listen to you? Because you get all your stuff from us. Really and truly, you need to listen to us because we can just cut off your shit right now. And this type of dependency is fucking scary. How can the government can just, bro? I'm just a little citizen on my level thinking about this shit. These people do fucking 10, 15 years of studying and they're not realizing that they're losing the race. I don't understand. You would have to sit down, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and all these companies in one room and tell them, guys, if you don't fucking learn how to work together so we can start producing things in this country and create more fucking jobs where we actually have a product, where we create stuff, where we're being innovative, where we can export stuff. I think one of the main the main export of America is fucking media and entertainment. What the fuck is this? I can't touch a song. I mean, media and entertainment. I can't. Like, what the fuck does that do for the world, bro? Apart from distraction. So this is what needs to be revisited: the separation of state and corporation. I'm not saying they need to merge, but they need to do a better job in terms of cooperating. There's no way you have all these massive brands in America and they're exporting, they're outsourcing all their labor in other countries, bro. I understand the financial aspect of it. You're gonna outsource your workforce there so you make more profit margins because you get you get it made for cheaper and then you sell it for way more. And they always say, oh, if you used to make it in the UK or in the US, people wouldn't be able to afford the prices. How about you fucking reduce your profit margins, right? And it would. That's why I'm saying there's no fucking nationalism. I can't even say it. Aye, don't laugh at me. There's no patriotism anymore. No one cares. It's all everyone for their own pockets, bro. But we live in the same country. If this country goes down, we all fucking go down. So buckle up and start working together. That's that. I don't. It's not rocket science, right? I'm not asking for crazy shit. Fucking Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, whoever created Ford, sit down and figure out how the fuck you gonna take over the production again, bro. We're tired. Start making boats, start making clothes, hats, fucking shisha pens. I don't care. Just make it in-house. And I think people would have way more pride in their country if we saw that we was actually making stuff, that we not spending our days on computers and fucking behind tills and fucking office jobs, bro. Like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna close it here because we can talk about this forever, but I'm just gonna close it here. This is fucking ridiculous. I don't understand how these people that are getting paid millions of pounds for politics of fucking highest guy. I'm here ranting as usual. I'm just talking about separation of corporation and state. It's like, I get it back then because it was needed at the time, but now it needs to be revisited because it's actually hindering our countries. You can't be outsourcing all your workforce to fucking Asia, South Africa, and in them places, bro. What the fuck? And we just watched a documentary about the cartels bringing in drugs through the border. So whilst all this shit is going, Reach VR. What's good? What's good? What's good? Thank you for watching on YouTube. Subscribe on my YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. We live on Twitch and YouTube right now. But yeah, man, this shit is fucking tiring. Like, how the fuck do you get shit so wrong? Anyway, I think we're just gonna stop it here with this topic. I already said that, but yeah, it's good for now.